Hello guys, welcome to Agbedo TV. I want to talk to us today about that word or that phrase people use. Knowledge is power. Because this is a phrase that many people are very conversant with. They say knowledge is power. And some people don't, seem to understand what it means. When they say knowledge is power, they just say it from the face value. And also to tie it together with wisdom, because some people, they sort of misconstrue what wisdom and knowledge, what both of them, how they are differentiated, that they don't actually mean the same thing, but both of them are interwoven, they are intertwined. So when they talk about knowledge is power, they actually, people that are saying it, they mean something. And when people talk about wisdom, you should have wisdom, you should acquire wisdom, you should acquire knowledge. Some people don't know. There are some people are just a bit confused about those two words, or that phrase, knowledge is power. The wisdom of God is different from the wisdom that you from the knowledge you get from your studies and all these things. Okay, now in the first place, let us look at these two words. What is actually knowledge? When we say knowledge is power, knowledge is a sort of, it has to do with the sort of information, sort of facts, truth that you acquire through education, through learning. That the experience you get from past studies, from different situations in life. Most of these things is the skills that you acquire from learning. That is what knowledge is. And this knowledge, it's a sort of awareness. The awareness, to be aware of your whole environment and all these things. You're able to, when you are aware of your environment, you take, you learn experience from all these ones, and at the end of the day, you're able to use this experience that you have learned. That's what even the dictionary, that's how they put it. But when you are talking about knowledge now, there are words that that are associated with knowledge. Something knowledge is just something like understanding, comprehension, something apprehension, the sort of proficiency, ability to grasp something, to be intelligent. That is a mastering of something. That is knowledge. Talking about knowledge, knowledge is power. To be an erudite person, erudition. So that's what knowledge is. Other words, other synonyms for knowledge. To be an expert in a particular area, and these are things that you learn from maybe either through education, through school, or through different situations, experience in life. So that's what knowledge is. Okay, I haven't known that. Okay, what is wisdom? Because some people confuse wisdom, with this knowledge. Wisdom, on the other hand, is just it's just the quality of being experienced. That's what it means. The quality of being experienced. That is how the dictionary put it. The quality of being experienced in having knowledge. Having a good judgment. The quality of being wise. So that is how the dictionary puts wisdom. So if you have wisdom, which means you have a good judgment, you have the quality of being wise, you have the quality of being experienced. So if you look at these two words, they're sort of related. But what are other words? Because when you have wisdom, somebody can be sagacious. So you use words like sagacious or sagacity. You understand, you are smart, you are rational, you are astute. You are sharp, you are judicious, you are clear-sighted, you are intelligent. That's what, another word for, having that wisdom. But if you look at it, I've used some of these words in both situations. In knowledge, which you acquire through studies, through schools, or through experience from different situations. And then, the wisdom, which is, the ability of having good judgment, ability of being wise. I've used, because if you look at it, both of them, they are very, very related. But where I'm going is this, because there's a clear difference between having knowledge and having wisdom. Because some people, when you talk to them, they say, okay, wisdom is the wisdom of God is different from the wisdom you learn from school. Of course, there are some similarities there, but I want to tell you that you can have knowledge without wisdom, and wisdom is very secondary to knowledge. You need to acquire knowledge first before you have wisdom. What I'm trying to say, wisdom is sort of let me say it's a doctor to knowledge. Or it's a child to knowledge. Before you can apply wisdom, you need to be knowledgeable. You need to acquire that knowledge because knowledge is power. Knowledge is what you learn. You can learn because when you are born, you don't know anything in life. When you begin to experience from your environment, you learn a lot of things. From school, you learn a lot of things. From traveling, you learn a lot of things. So you gather all these skills, all this experience that you are learning. But the application of what you learn is where wisdom comes in. That's what I want people to understand. Because when they try to misconstrue, when they try to, put, interchangeability, where they're supposed to use knowledge, they use wisdom. When they're supposed to use wisdom, they use knowledge. So because knowledge is the primary something that everybody needs to learn. You need to have knowledge. What you don't, knowledge is coming from the word know. What you don't know, you cannot apply it. If you don't know about a particular situation, you'll be fidgeting. You'll be afraid. Just like the Spanish put it, that some people, that if the greatest thing to some people is fear, and one that is living a fearful life is just like a life that is half lived. That's what the Spanish said, because if you don't live in a life of fear, knowledge is power. If you have that knowledge, you are fearless because you can tackle any situation. You know what it means. You know what you are doing. You know where you are going to. You know your beginning. You know your end. When you know about a particular thing, just like know your subject. Maybe you did a particular subject, IT, in the university, for instance, or you did a particular, maybe you are a mathematician. But because you know what you are doing, when you are solving this math, when you are in the classroom, if you are teaching or you are using it in any day-to-day life, you're not afraid because you know what you are doing. You are not fearless because you know that you are composed. You have all your know-how about it. You know how to get there. Even when you make mistakes, you know how to correct yourself and go there. So that is why it is very, very important to know that knowledge is power, because with knowledge you can apply wisdom, because wisdom is the application of knowledge. So when you apply your knowledge, then you're not using wisdom, but you can have knowledge without wisdom. You understand? Because some people, you might be a scholar, you might be a graduate, you must have maybe acquired your degrees or maybe your masters or whatever, and then you cannot apply all you have learned. That is where the knowledge, the wisdom is failing. If you do not have that, the charisma or the characteristics to apply the knowledge that you have gathered in the world, you are a failure, because it means you lack wisdom. That is why you see the wisdom in the Bible, where Solomon, the biblical Solomon, people say that you need to have wisdom like the biblical Solomon, because Solomon was the greatest one in the Bible that was using that wisdom. It was a situation in the Bible where two women were struggling for a child. These two women, one said, the one that didn't own the child said, okay, let's cut. He said, call this, told the king, cut this child into two and let us share it. So, but when the wise man came there, the wise king came and said, no, I know what to do. He said, I'm not going to share this baby because this baby will die. Give it to the other person who didn't say anything. Yeah, because the other woman said, no, instead of you to share this baby, give it to this woman that said they should share the baby. You see, that is wisdom, application of wisdom. So I just want to tell us that, before you can acquire, you can get that wisdom, you need to get knowledge. Knowledge is power, knowledge is everything. If you do not have knowledge, you begin to feeble, in different something. You'll be fickle-minded. You live in sort of illusion because you wouldn't know what to do at the right time because you are not sure of yourself. You see, that's where fear comes in. They say decision taking on principles survive the test of time than the decision you take on looking at the human faces, because human faces is going to make you to be afraid. But if you know if you know where you are going, you take your decision in principles and you are going to get there. So that's what I'm trying to tell us. So if you have been confused about these two words, these two technology, wisdom, knowledge, so you know it from today, and so that you gather your knowledge and you know how to apply it. Thank you, and don't forget to share. Bye bye.